Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So does somebody want to start reading? Yogita, you want to read one line and we follow you one line? Or if not, then I will start. Yogita, you can. Okay, so you read one line and we will follow. Can't hear you. Yogita, your voice is very low. Huh?
I'm reading it from my book only. So in Sanskrit I'm reading.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Now is it okay?
A bit better.
Hare. So then 18th verse. Which verse? 16th.
Yeah, 16 to 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthara.
Ananta Vijaya
Ananta
Raj
Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthara.
Nakula Sahadevascha Sugoshmani Pushpakau.
Nakula
Nakula
Sahadevascha Sugoshmani Pushpakau.
Pushpakau.
Kashascha Parmeshwasa Shikhandi cha Maharat.
Kashta
Kashascha Paramesha Shikhandi cha Maharata.
Drishtadumno Viratascha Satyaki Shrute Parajita.
Krishna no
Virata cha Satyaki Kaparajita.
Drupado Drupadayascha Sarvasya Prithvipate.
Drupato
Draupadiya Sarvasa Prithvipate.
Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Sankham Dadmau Prathak Prathak.
Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Sankham Dadmau Prathak Prathak.
King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Anant Vijay, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. But swift after the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Draupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Sanjay informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of kingdom was not very laudable. The sign already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle, beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world. All were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his son.
Yeah, so this is another sign. Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra that, all these great fighters, they also are naming the names, giving the names of the conch shells. We didn't hear the names of the conch shells when Bhishma Dev blew his conch shell or when the Kurus were hearing, when they were blowing. But now, for the Pandavas side, we are hearing the names of their conch shells also, So Sanjaya is already telling Dhritarashtra, the outcome may not be so good as you are expecting. Let's continue.
Saghosho Dhatarashtraణam
Saghosho Ashtanam
Vidyani Vyadarayat
Hridayani
Navascha prithvim chaiva
नभश्च पृथ्वी चैव
tumlo abhyunanadayan.
तुमुलो
Ayunanadayan.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. When Bhishma and the others on the side of Duryodhan blew their respective conch shells, there was no heartbreaking on the part of the Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned, but in this particular verse it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sound vibrated by the Pandavas' party. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamities.
So what's the main thing here Prabhupada is explaining to us? What's the
conch
point
shell
to
was
understand?
when the conch shell was they were blowing the conch shell, that was the sign of victory, and they were so confident that because their side Krishna was there on their side, in Pandava's side, so they were so confident and they were not shattered. Their hearts were not shattered by hearing such tumultuous voice of sound of conch shells. Whereas in the opposite party, they all were scared. Their hearts were shaking, like they were scared
Yeah,
that whether they or not.
that's true. And then what is Prabhupada saying? That if we are ever in a midst of a great calamity, we are faced with some very fearful situation, what does Srila Prabhupada recommend?
We should take shelter of Supreme Lord.
Yeah. And if we take shelter of Supreme Lord, then we have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Abhayam, Abhayam, right? Become fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord. And that's why Srila Prabhupada's name was also Abhay Charanaravinda, one who's
Yes.
fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord. We have so many fears. We have so many demons in our mind, which they really trouble us sometimes. If we can learn at that moment to just simply call out to Krishna, then we can become fearless, actually fearless. Because then we are depending on Krishna, not ourselves. Okay, let's read on.
अथ व्यवस्थिताना दृष्ट्वा
Atha vyavasthitan drishtva
धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज
dhartarashtran kapidvaja
Kapitra.
प्रवर्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते
pravate shastra sampate
Shastra Sampate.
धनुरुद्म्याप पाण्डव
Dhanur
dhanurbuddhamya pandava
Udyamya Pandava.
ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदं महामहीपते
rishikesham tada vakyam
Rishikesham Tada
idam
Vakyam
mahipate.
Mahapate.
At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Rama in the battle between Rama and Ravan, and Lord Rama emerged victorious. Now both Rama and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Rama himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions, arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay the sign of assured victory.
Yeah. So one more arrangement we are seeing. And what's that? One more auspicious sign?
Presence of Hanuman.
Yeah. Presence of Hanuman. And I had heard in a lecture that it's not that Hanuman was just like a photo on the flag. No, but Hanuman was himself there. And he was roaring the war cries, he was himself there. I heard that in a class. So for sure, seeing all these signs and Krishna himself being on Pandava's side, and the victory seems to be guaranteed for the Pandavas. But now let's read on what's happening.
Arjun Uvacha
Arjun Uvacha
Senayorumayorमध्ये रथं स्थाप्य मेच्युत
Senayor Abhayormadhye
Tanayor
Ratham
Abhyarmadhe Ratham
Sthapayamechuta
Stapyamechyuta
यावत्तेतानि रक्ष्य अहं योद्धाकामान् व्यवस्थितान्
Yavad Etan
Yavad
Nirikshya
Itan Nirikse Yadu
Yodhu
Khan
Kaman Avasthita.
Vastitan
कैर्मया सह योद्धाव्यस्मासिन् रणमसमुद्धुमि
Nirmaya
Kai
Sahayodhavya
Mayata
Asmin
Yodhyavam
Rana
Menya
Samyudhyame.
Samudhyame.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his son. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of total sense. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is the master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him or to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is an infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
So here now Arjuna, this is the first time now he's speaking. Earlier was Sanjay, Dhritarashtra. Yeah, and then now Arjuna is asking because both the armies are arranged, and he's saying, I want to see who are we fighting against. So Krishna, what are the names Krishna is being addressed to, as in this first paragraph at least?
Achyut, infallible.
Yeah, infallible. Why is he being called infallible?
The one who does not fall down from his own position.
Yeah. And what about we, the living entities? What's our position?
We are the truth one, the fallible person who commits
Yeah, we are
mistakes and
fallible. That's right. But Krishna is infallible. We may think we are infallible, we may pretend we are infallible, but in fact, only Krishna, he's infallible, never fails, never fails. And we can see here the first line itself. Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's engaged in the service of his friend. Right? He's become the chariot driver. He's driving his friend around. Prabhupada is pointing out of his causeless mercy. So this is Krishna. He's the Supreme Lord. And yet, out of his mercy, which is causeless, there's no cause for this mercy, he is engaged in serving his friend. He's so affectionate. Krishna is called Parthasarthi. He loves to be called in relationship to his devotees. That's Krishna's position. He's Bhaktavatsal. He's waiting to have this loving relationship with each and every one of us. Each and every one of us have a loving relationship with Krishna, and he's waiting for us to be situated in that relationship. Yeah, Krishna is God, and he's following Krishna's orders. Arjuna is telling him, take me left, take me right. And Krishna is not saying, hey, I'm God, don't order me. He's saying, yeah, he's doing it. And in the war, it's not that Arjuna is saying, oh, my dear Krishna, very nicely. No, he's tapping him with his feet on Krishna's shoulder, which side he wants to go. He's tapping that foot or that shoulder of Krishna. So this is Krishna's position. He's God, but out of his own causeless mercy, out of his love for his devotee, he agrees to become even a chariot driver of Arjuna. It's a loving relationship. And even though Krishna he's become the chariot driver of Arjuna, does it mean that he's not God anymore? What do you think? No, he's still God. His supreme position was not challenged. Krishna is supreme in all circumstances. We just read he's infallible. He never forgets his position. He never fails. So even though he's playing the role of a chariot driver, it doesn't mean he's not God anymore. He's still the Supreme Lord. He, in no way, under no circumstance can Krishna's supremacy be challenged. Nobody can overtake Krishna to become God in any circumstance because he's the Lord. He's always the Lord. Yeah? And again, he's mentioned here as Rishikesh. Rishikesh, as we were reading yesterday. Does anyone remember? What does Rishikesh mean?
हाँ इंद्रियों के स्वामी
Thank
master.
you. Yes, Indriyo ke Swami, master of the senses. Thank you. So the relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. It's not that, oh, Krishna is whipping Arjuna, become my devotee, worship me. And no, it's a relationship which is based on love. Very, very loving relationship, very sweet relationship. And this relationship each of us have with Krishna in either of the five rasas. And how can we easily revive that relationship? The relationship we have with Krishna is eternal. It can never be broken. But right now we have forgotten it. How can we revive that relationship with Krishna?
By rendering service to the Lord.
Specifically, what kind of service?
The Navda Bhakti, by the Shravanam, Kirtanam, whatever we
Yes,
do,
that's
the
right.
activity
Yes.
we have to
By
serve it to
hearing
Lord
and
and
chanting.
yeah.
By hearing and chanting, specifically at our stage, is very important. Hearing and chanting, so we can revive our eternal relationship with Krishna. It's by chanting the holy name that we can revive our relationship. And then to be able to chant, we need to hear. Because if we have heard well, then we will be able to chant. So hearing and chanting is very important at our stage to be able to revive our relationship with Krishna. It's not artificial, it's already there. And that's why the word revive is used. So the servitor is ready to render service to the Lord. And the Lord is seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. So it's not that Krishna is saying, oh, hey, you just become my servant. You go here, you do that, and I'm not going to do anything. No, it's a reciprocation. It's reciprocal. Love is always a reciprocation. Krishna is seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. So he is the supreme Lord. He doesn't need to do anything. But yet, out of his love for the devotee, he wants to serve the devotee. This is how we can see how much love Krishna has for each and every one of us. He has a very, very loving heart. Then Prabhupada goes on to say he takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being giver of orders. Everyone is listening to Krishna's order. Krishna also says that this material world, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. He says in Bhagavad Gita, this material energy, Mayadhyakshena, she's working under my supervision. So she's following Krishna's orders. Everyone is following Krishna's orders. The sun is rising on time, setting on time. The moon, the rains, the wind is blowing. Why? Because they're all following Krishna's orders. But what does Krishna get pleasure in? When he has a loving relationship with the devotee. And the devotee is asking him, taking a greater position than him. This is what is pleasing to Krishna. Like he allows himself to be bound by Mother Yashoda. It's a loving exchange he's having with his mother. So then we may think, oh, I can order Krishna, but are we at that level? Do we have that pure love for Krishna? When we have that pure love for Krishna, then we are automatically in that relationship. But we can't artificially put ourselves there in that position, because we may try to just misuse what we are hearing. So this is the beautiful relationship between Krishna and the pure devotee. And each of us have a loving relationship with Krishna. So anyway, here now Arjuna wants to see who's waiting, who wants to fight. Are there any questions or comments on what we just heard and read?
Shilpa, I want to ask that we are fallen souls, we are fallible because of the mistakes we commit, or because we come and we take birth and death and we are in this planet, uh, in this body we are. That's why we are fallen souls.
I'm sorry, but could you repeat your question, please? I was not able to understand it.
I was saying that we are fallible
Yes,
because we are fallen souls. It's
yes.
because of that we are committing mistakes, or we are taking birth and death again and again. So that's why we are fallen souls.
Yeah, we have this tendency to come under the influence of the material energy
Okay.
because we are
That's why we are.
tatashta. Yeah, we are
Yes.
tatashta, right? We are marginal. We are very tiny. So we
Okay.
need to take shelter either of the spiritual energy or material energy. What happens is when we choose to take shelter of material energy, we are here in the material world.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
But we have to understand the reason we do that is because of our desire.
Yes.
It's all because of our desire. Because people might say, oh, why did Krishna put me in this material world? Why? Because we wanted to. We wanted to we wanted to pretend we are Krishna. We want to compete with Krishna. And we can't do that in the spiritual world. Spiritual world, everyone just loves Krishna. Nobody is trying to compete with him. So, but we want to do that, and that's the reason we are here in the spirit, in the material world. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, all living entities are born of desire and hate. Because of our desire to become Krishna, our envy that why is he God, why am I not God? We are here in the material world.
So the souls who are liberated, they are now become infallible. The souls,
Um,
the person
at the
who has left all the
but
desires and modes of
yeah, so
nature, he has
they are eternally liberated souls. I don't know if they are ever called infallible, but they are liberated. I'm not sure if we can use the term infallible for them or no, but we have to understand that because they are in the spiritual world, they're not going to come back to the material world for what? When you're used to having better things, why would you choose for something which is lower? When you can have a better thing, why would you choose a lower thing? And
so
Krishna
then
himself says in the Bhagavad Gita.
that liberated person will not fall from his position. So infallible
Yeah,
is that.
yeah, yeah, they don't. Because Krishna says once who comes back to the spiritual world, they don't and come back to the material world again,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then
Yes.
Prabhupada also points out again that if somebody has a desire though to come to the material world, they will come
Mm.
because it's all depends on our desire. So someone may be in the spiritual world again if they get somehow the desire, I want to compete with Krishna, I'm envious of Krishna, then again they would come back.
Yeah.
So the idea, and so the point to understand is when when the love is revived, then you don't want to leave the beloved. You always want to be with your lover, with your beloved, right?
Yes.
So that is the most important. Once the love is revived, the relationship is revived, then the soul is gonna say, why should I leave Krishna? I don't want to leave him. I want to be with him. When we love someone, we want to be with them. We don't want to leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does anyone want to read? And does anyone else want to read? I could read the Sanskrit first, and then y'all could repeat, and then y'all can read the English, if anyone. If not,
Yeah, you start, Shilpa.
hmm?
You read the Sanskrit, yeah?
Okay.
We'll follow.
Yosya manan avekshayaham
Yutsamanan avikshaham
ya
Mhm.
ete atra samagata
ya ete atra samagat
Etitra Magata
drashtrashtrasya durbuddhir
dhartarashtrasya
Rashtra
durbuddhi
Buddhate
yudhe priya chikirshava.
yuddhe priya
Chudhe
chikitya.
Priya Chikitvaha.
Does anyone want to read the English?
Okay, I can
No?
read.
Okay.
Yeah. Translation. Let me say, those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Purpose. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield, therefore the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory, because Krishna was sitting by his side.
Yeah. So Arjuna's confidence is because Krishna is with him. So if we can also have that confidence, that Krishna is with me, I'm at the lotus feet of Krishna, we can take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, and we can become victorious too. That's why the Pandavas are called the devotees, because they are surrendered to the will of Krishna. Sanjaya Vachan
Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Evam Ukto Rishikesho
Eva Mukto
Eva
Kesho
Rishikesho
Gudakeshi na Bharata
Guda
Gudakeshana Bharata
Senayor Uvayor Madhye
Senayor
Senayor Uvayor Madhe
Tapayitva Rathotamam.
Sthapayet
Thapayitva Rathotatam Totamam.
Sanjay said, a descendant of, I'm sorry, please. Neeta, please read.
Yeah. Translation. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drove up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Purpose. In this verse, Arjuna is referred as Gudakesa. Gudaka means sleep. The one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesa. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in walking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. As Rishikesha, or the director of the sense and mind of every living entity, Krishna could not understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the
Krishna
midst of
could.
the armies.
Krishna could understand.
Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows.
So here, what is Arjuna referred as?
Gudakesa.
Why?
Gudakesa. Because he conquered the sleep.
Thank you. And sleep at?
Ignorance.
ignorance.
That's right. Thank you. Why he was not ignorant? Why is Arjuna in full knowledge? Because?
He is a great devotee of Krishna.
Krishna.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. So he's always thinking of Krishna. So thus a devotee can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is samadhi. So how can one come to this point? We are hearing that we can give up ignorance if we think of Krishna constantly. Then how could we think of Krishna constantly?
By thinking of Krishna's form,
chanting and
Chanting. That's what. Thank you, Auntie. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. That's what Lord Chaitanya came to specifically give us. Krishna tells Arjuna, you do whatever you need to do, but do it for me, thinking of me. So the only way we will be able to do it is by chanting the holy name, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And that we will be able to remember Krishna. Lord Chaitanya came to give us this greatest gift, the holy name. Yeah. Then again here, Krishna is referred to as Rishikesh, the director of senses and mind. So Krishna knows Arjuna's mind. Krishna is the Paramatma in the heart of Arjuna also. And Krishna knows. So he's in our heart also. Krishna knows our heart and our mind. You may think, oh, I'm doing something, but Krishna doesn't know what I'm doing. But he himself is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that he's sitting in the heart as the Paramatma. You're going to be hearing as we read along. Bhishma Drona Pramukhata
Bhishma Drona Pramukhata
Sarvesham Cha Mahishitam
Sarvesh
Sarvesham Cha Mahishitam
Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan
Uvacha
Vacha Partha Pasyetan
Samavetan Kurun Iti.
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Please read.
Yes. Translation. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. As a super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Krishna. The use of the word Rishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha, meaning the son of Partha or Kunti, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pratha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pratha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking.
Yeah, so here now Krishna is beginning to speak. Just behold Partha. All the Kurus assembled here. So, what does Prabhupada tell us? That why could Krishna understand what's going on in the mind of Arjuna?
because Arjuna was he didn't want to fight the battle, and Krishna
No.
was saying that you are not
No.
No, because Krishna is the super soul of all the living entities.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That's right. Krishna is the Super Soul. He is the Paramatma. He himself says, Updashanamanta Cha, that he is the overseer, he is the permitter, the heart of all living entities. That's why he knows what's going on in the mind of Arjuna. Rishikesha, he is the master of the senses. So he knows what's going on in our mind. He knows what's in our heart. And then, of course, here he's calling Arjuna as the son of Pritha. Because Pritha is Kunti's another name. So he's saying Pritha. Because Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, hey, you are related to me, You're belonging to such a great family. Don't think of what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Give up that thought. Krishna is telling him that indirectly. Tatra pashyat sthitan partha.
Tatra Pashyat
Tatra Pasyat Sitan Partha
Pitrin atha pitamahan.
Pitrin Atha Pitamahan,
Acharyan Matulan Bratran,
Acharyan
Matulan, Bratan,
Putran Pautran Sakhims Tatha,
Putran, Pautran, Sakhim Tata,
Shuran Suridas Chaiva,
Vasuran
Vasuran, Surdas, Chaiva,
Senayor Ubayorapi,
Senayor, Ubhayor Api.
kindly read.
Yeah. Translation. There, Arjun could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bodhisattva, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Sakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwadhama, well-wishers like Kritvarma, etc. He could see all the armies which contained many of his friends.
That's what Arjuna is saying. Not an easy thing, no? To see grandfathers, fathers, teachers, all his loved ones are here. Tan Samikshya Sa Kaunteya,
Tan Samiksha Kaunteya,
Sarvan Bandhun Avasthitan,
Sarvan
Sarvan Bandhun Avashtitan,
Kripaya Paraya Vishto,
Vipaya Paraya Visto,
Vishidan Idam Abravet,
Vishivan Idam Abravait. Translation. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
So some acharyas, they point out that Krishna, he purposely stopped the chariot in front of Bhishma and Dronacharya because Arjuna was very, very attached to them. They were his affectionate elders, esteemed, respected elders. He was very affectionate to them. So and Krishna wants to speak the Bhagavad Gita. So he's placing the chariot, especially in front of Bhishma and Dronacharya. Arjuna Vacha,
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha,
Drishtve Mam Svajanam Krishna,
Dustveva
Drishtavam Svajanam Krishna,
Yuyutsam Samupasthitam,
Samupasthitam,
Siddhanti Mama Gatrani,
Siddhanti Mama Gatrani,
Mukam Cha Parishushyate.
Mukham
Kansha Parishchichate. Translation. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purpose. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly person or in the demigods. Whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualification by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them, who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party. Foreseeing their imminent, imminent death, after a while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver, and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's body limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but due to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore,
Yasyasti
uh,
bhakti bhagavati yakinchana sarvergunestatra samasate sura.
yes, yes, the bhakti Bhagavad Gita,
गुणैश्चत्र समस्ते सुरः
Gunaya Satra Samaste Sura.
Anavabhaktasya kuto mahatguna
भक्तस्य
Bhakti
कुतो गुणः
Mahaguna.
manorathena sati dhavato mahi.
मनोरहे
Mano Ratinsa Ratinasati Dhavo Tabahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigod. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy.
So this verse is from Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 12. Prabhupada is giving evidence because here we are speaking that how Arjuna is so kind and compassionate. He's seeing that the Kurus are here waiting to kill them. So he's crying, oh my God, this is my dear ones, this is my family, and I have to kill them. I mean, it's in a very, very difficult position, Arjuna. Would we be able to do it? Might probably run away. So Prabhupada is pointing out that Arjuna, because he's a pure devotee, his heart is very compassionate. It's very soft heart. Pure devotees, the hearts are very soft. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that one who's a devotee, automatically he has all the divine qualities. You see, in Kali Yuga, both the divine and the demoniac live in our own body. In Treta Yuga, in Satyug, the demons used to live on different planets. In Treta Yuga, they were living on the same planet but different countries, like Ram and Ravan, different countries. Satyug was different planets like Hiranyakashipu. And then in Dwapara Yuga, what happened was the demons was living in the same families, like Duryodhana is living in the same family as Pandavas. But in Kali Yuga, where does the demon live? It's living within us. Both the divine and demon live together in our body. So the more we can hear and chant, the more we can cultivate our divine qualities, and the more we can give up our demoniac qualities. So Arjuna, he is a pure devotee of the Lord, so he naturally has all the divine qualities. And this Prabhupada is giving this evidence also from Bhagavatam, which is saying that one who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead means pure devotee, unflinching, firm faith, nishtha, steady faith. No, it's not that the faith sometimes is there, sometimes not. No, unflinching. Then automatically he has all the good qualities of the demigods. And then, of course, it goes on to say one who is not a devotee, he's on the material platform. After all, the mind is material, no? So sometimes it will think bad, sometimes it will think good. But if one is a pure devotee, he's on the liberated platform. Pure devotee, Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, na sochati na kankshati, samasarveshu bhuteshu, mad bhaktim labhate param. That at that stage of liberation, one can get pure devotion to Krishna, which shows that the pure devotee is already liberated. So he's already on the spiritual platform. So then, of course, he has all the good qualities. He has no demoniac qualities at all, no material qualities, only transcendental qualities. Are there any questions or comments?
Shilpa, I want to ask about in the 24th verse, there it says that Arjuna was called Gurakesh because he conquered sleep and ignorance. So, why to conquer sleep? Because in the further chapters of Bhagavad Gita, there it is said that one must need sufficient amount of sleep and food and like that. So, why to conquer sleep? Like Arjuna was
But that
practicing.
instruction, yeah, but that
for-
instruction is not for us. We don't have to imitate Arjuna, you see?
No,
You see,
one
we do
must
not
go to
imitate.
Samadhi.
Huh?
Yeah.
Krishna.
For going to the stage of Samadhi, we have to cross a person who is doing all these
Ram, Ram, Ram.
practices. He has to go under this sleep and ignorance. He has to become like that. So
I'm sorry, what's the question? What?
Arjuna was called Gurakesh because he conquered sleep and ignorance.
Yes.
So why to conquer sleep? Because one must need a sufficient amount of sleep.
So we have to understand Arjuna is not an ordinary personality. He is a
Yeah,
great warrior, great devotee of the Lord. He's not like us. We need Krishna saying, don't eat too much, don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Why is Krishna saying that? Because we have the tendency to do that. We don't know how to balance ourselves. That's the reason Krishna is telling us. Arjuna is completely a pure devotee of the Lord. He's a personal
so here,
associate of the Lord. So we
here
cannot
to the
compare ourselves to him. And we are not required to give up sleep. We have to understand one point. We don't have to give up sleep. That's why
yeah,
Krishna is saying, don't sleep too little and don't sleep too much. We have to follow the instructions. We do not have to imitate the great devotees,
yeah,
but we
that,
follow the instructions what we are supposed to do. Is that
yeah,
okay? Yeah, because
yeah.
we are
But the
not at all on that level. We cannot compare ourselves to them.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you so much. Let's end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Hare